So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Promise podcast on Best Supporting Actor snubs at the Oscars. I mentioned it was a Disney film. Now, you have to think back to the mid-'60s. What really stands out, one of the best male performances of the decade, but wasn't recognized by the Oscar. It was recognized by the Golden Globes, fortunately. Yes, Bert, played by Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins. Now, Bert is key to the movie because he's the kind of a jack-of-all-trades friend of Mary Poppins, and Mary Poppins shows up as a housekeeper and family confidant to basically bring the children in the household she's working into a more friendly and humor-filled life. Now, when it was first released, actually 364 days before my birth, in August 27th, 1964. It received, get this, a total of 13 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture. Now, it was a record for any film released by Walt Disney Studios. And it was the only movie that Walt Disney, considered by him and these chroniclers as his crowning live-action achievement. And is the only film that earned him a Best Picture nomination in his lifetime. Now, the current sequel, Mary Poppins Returns, is doing great at the box office, and will give an opportunity for old fans of Mary Poppins and new fans of Mary Poppins to look back at the original production. With the 13 Academy Award nominations, it won 5, including Best Actress for the incomparable Julie Andrews, Best Film Editing, Best Original Music Score, Best Visual Effects, and probably one of the best Disney-created songs of all time, Chim Chim Cheree. Now, 6 years ago, the film was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Now, what really bothers me about Dick Van Dyke not getting nominated, he was a known star back then, and only Dick Van Dyke could really play Bert to the level of quality that the character of Bert provides. Bert is a jack of all trades. He's basically there for Mary Poppins, there for the kids. He's basically someone who you can rely on in any situation. Now, it was based on the P.L. Travers publication, and let me tell you, the cinematography and the choreography, especially Dick Van Dyke being a dancing chimney sweep, it just stands out. Now, who other than Dick Van Dyke could have played Bert at the time? Very few. Most of the great dancers in 1970 didn't have his comedic flair. Dick Van Dyke was multi-purpose. He could do 5 different types of entertainment at once: comedy, dance, singing, presentation, even narration. He's a great narrator. He's done many shows through the years, including one of the Walt Disney docs that you can see on Netflix and other streaming services. But if you look at the total work of Dick Van Dyke in the movie, it's kind of supporting, but it's a lead as well. That's why the Globes celebrated him. But for the Oscars not to nominate Dick Van Dyke in any shape or form, again, unless they were suffering from a brain fart, or like the old joke I said, maybe Shelley Winters didn't like him because, I talked about Oliver Reed not getting nominated by the Oscars through the years. Maybe Dick Van Dyke did something bad to someone in the Academy. Now, Dick Van Dyke is in the new Mary Poppins Returns. If there was a fair world with the Oscars, he would get a Best Supporting nomination for the Oscars. He really deserves Oscar recognition. Not only because he's been, an entertainment star, I think 7 decades now. He basically set the bar for people like Neil Patrick Harris and different multifaceted entertainers in the modern day, even Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen doesn't dance, but there's a little bit of a Dick Van Dyke comedy in her, that friendly kind of wink kind of stuff. So again, if you have a chance to see Mary Poppins, there's many editions on DVD, various documentaries. There's the Emma Thompson, Tom Hanks film that details how Walt Disney got it to screen. Hanks plays Disney. So there's a lot of out there. Now, the original soundtrack, I think it's been expanded through the years. If you have a chance, just to look at the background music. And technically, it was part of the Julie Andrews legacy because Sound of Music was right after. Remember, she wasn't given My Fair Lady. She was given this role. She was bypassed for Audrey Hepburn for My Fair Lady. So maybe it was a sympathy vote for Julie Andrews winning. but I don't think she deserved it. But Dick needed to be up on stage too, either with the Best Supporting Actor nomination or an actor nomination. Because 64 wasn't really a strong year for male actors. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we like to say in the Disney universe, let the ears guide you. Mickey, of course. Have yourself a great evening, and again, be safe in the new year. Might be a little bit of storm coming in New Brunswick, so be careful. As we like to say in Canterbury at the home office, keep your stick in the ice. Have a good one. Bye.